Javed Abdi Foundation, JAF, which also stands for Journalism, Advocacy and Fun. Please subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, like, comment, and share. Smita Sadasivan ma'am, and she is a cross disability rights activist and a member of the Disability Rights Alliance. She is also on the committee, on the national committee. She's a member of the national committee for the rights of persons with disabilities, and she's also an accessibility consultant with ECI. So and further, she is also a champion of women's rights with disabilities and a trainer at the South Asia Regional Women's Institute on Leadership and Disability, and this is acronymed as WILD. So Smita ma'am, I would like to request you to please tell us more about accessible elections and why political participation is important.
Sure. Thank you, Shamir. Good evening, everyone. And I shall take you on through a journey with regard to our work on accessible elections. And yeah, before going into that, I agree with Varun. There are a lot of constraints and concerns at the field level. Right now, the system is set. The 2019 elections saw a great deal of awareness and also more people with disabilities turning out to be voting and also raising their voice when they don't have when they don't see specific facilities, and so things like this. So I consider this as a step forward, and yes, the system is actually set right now, whereas the implementation at the ground little challenging because of, yes, lack of sensitization of the field level officials, or even from the a lack of accessibility of some polling booths. Certain aspects of access is not there, whereas certain aspects are there, and things like that. It is not 100% accessible, and many booths have been made 100% accessible, whereas there are a lot of glitches in many areas. So we are striving to make it 100% and accessible, and so I will just take you all through a journey of it. um, and this advocacy towards making elections accessible has started from 2004, and a lot of persons with disabilities got involved in this. To start with, it was Mr. Javed Abidi and NCPDP who, when 2004 elections was announced, he went and met the election commission and said that all polling booths across the country have to be accessible this elections, and cited the Persons with Disabilities Act 1995. Whereas the commission said all making all booths accessible is not possible uh, at this step. Then he also, NCPDP team brought a carpenter, and they made um, uh, um, a ramp, a wooden ramp, in a short period of time, and showed the commission that it is all possible. And he also sat in a protest outside DCI when his plea was actually not taken. And then he also took over on a fast for a few days, and NCPDP also submitted a letter soon after this protest to the Supreme Court, which was treated as a public interest litigation by the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court gave certain directions in 2004 for that elections, and from then on, which was like to ensure ramps at all polling booths and to enable a companion with a person with disability. If a person voter with disability is bringing a companion, so that companion need to be allowed, and sensitization should happen to all polling officials about facilitating voters with disabilities. A person in a wheelchair should be allowed to use his own wheelchair while voting, and specific facilities for people with hearing impairment and speech impairment, and So these kind of directions were given, and this direction was taken up by all the partners across the country, NDN partners and DLUs, and followed up in their respective states. Whereas there was a simultaneous work on Braille EVM advocacy started by an organization in Hyderabad, and so this was the start. Following that, in 2004, HRLN, Human Rights Law Network, and Nilesh filed public interest litigations across the country. And in Maharashtra, they succeeded in getting an order citing that for 2004 legislative assembly elections, so at least 1,000 booths should be made accessible in Maharashtra. Otherwise, the election need to be cancelled. So, that was kind of a start with the accessible elections work. And then many disability networks, disability groups across the country started working on accessible elections, and DRA started working, and in Andhra Pradesh, DRA is Disability Rights Alliance in Chennai, and in Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Srinivaslu, NPDO, was working, and also across the country. Adi and Dr. Satendra worked very focusedly in 2014 elections, and they brought out effective material and resources towards accessible elections. And apart from that, Punjab group worked with their CEO, and at all the district levels, they worked with the local district administrations. So all these things started happening. And in 2015, International Foundation for Electoral Systems facilitated the FEMBOSA conference. FEMBOSA stands for Forum for Electoral Management Bodies of South Asia. So the members of the FEMBOSA forum are all the election commissions of the SAARC countries. And at the same time when IFS was conducting this FEMBOSA conference in Sri Lanka, it also conducted a disability dialogue on political participation, where all the disability groups from across the globe were invited, and we all were engaged in bringing up an agenda to be included in the FEMBOSA resolution. So we arrived at a 9-point agenda towards accessible elections, which the FEMBOSA commissioners agreed upon to implement and signed. Myself and Mr. Abidi were there from India to be part of the disability dialogue on political participation in Sri Lanka. And when I came back to India, I took up the FEMBOSA resolution also signed by our election commissioner. And so through Disability Rights Alliance, we represented the 9-point agenda, and we advocated with the Chief Electoral Officer of Tamil Nadu as well as the Election Commission, and we started working very closely with the CEO of Tamil Nadu in 2016 elections. So we also evolved a lot of resources, like access audit checklist for polling booths, or a manual to sensitize election officials, and we came up with a mobile app for access audit of polling booths and different things. So we also conducted sensitization programs for election officials, the district electoral officers, and we also worked very closely with the COTN. And at the same time, many issues were coming up in the enrollment and voting rights of people with intellectual and psychosocial disabilities. So Human Rights Law Network in Kerala took this up, and they filed a public interest litigation specifically on this, and got a High Court order stating that people with mental disabilities have the right to vote, and they have to be allowed to vote. So further to that, DRA also supported the disability networks groups in different states wherever elections are happening. We also not only worked with the disability network, but we also worked with the CEOs of those respective states, chief electoral officers, and also we were serving as a bridge between the disability groups of those states and the election commission. So we could actually move things better for those disability groups and those states with our connections with the commission. And it was really a great movement building, to say, and many disability groups started working on accessible elections. And if you look at 2019 Lok Sabha elections, we can see a huge number of increase in the disability groups that who have been working working on accessible elections. And specifically I said Punjab was working in every district, and in Assam Sishu Saroti did a great job, and many organizations in different states. So and Disability Rights Alliance for the first time also advocated with the local administration to set up a polling booth in a mental health institution, IMH, Institute of Mental Health, which was the first in the country. And so there were many firsts, with different disability groups coming up in their own states. Many groups specifically worked for people with leprosy or people with psychosocial disabilities. In West Bengal, the network worked for people with psychosocial disabilities specifically. And so lot of things happened, and it was really breaking a breakthrough, I would say, in the disability movements work. And so when this much amount of advocacy was happening from the disability sector, from our side, there were also conscious measures taken by the Election Commission on the other side. So based on the 2004 Supreme Court directions, periodic instructions were issued to all the chief electoral officers of all states continuously, which included instructions about coming up with ramps or allowing a companion, or to have priority queue for people with disabilities, sensitization of polling officers, allowing a voter in his own wheelchair, or assistance for voters with speech and hearing impairment. And all these instructions were given in the Supreme Court order. So the instructions also went to all the chief electoral officers in the same on all those fields. And apart from that, from 2004 onwards, Election Commission of India started testing braille signages in EVMs, electoral voting machine, and which was started in Andhra Pradesh. And then in 2009, it implemented in to all constituencies in the Lok Sabha elections of 2009, where the electronic voting machine became braille EVM as well. And then specific instructions were given about giving wide publicity on the facilities for voters with disabilities. And also specific instructions were given about facilitations of people with leprosy, women voters, senior citizens, etc. Then in 2015, Election Commission of India set up a technical committee to input on the measures to be taken towards full accessible elections. And of course, ECI also signed the FEMBOSA resolution in 2015. And following that, in 2016, they gave two detailed notifications, which included instructions on appointing nodal officers at state level to deal with accessible elections, and to conduct accessible awareness activities, to map persons with disabilities in every polling booth, then to provide specific accessible enrollment arrangements for voters with disabilities, and accessible polling booths to be ensured in lines with Government of India standards, and polling information to be made accessible, election websites to be made accessible, and so on. So all these clear instructions were given by the Election Commission in 2016. Then in 2017, Commission went an extra mile to issue a direction for one constituency in Chennai, whereas there is one constituency named Dr. Radhakrishna Nagar, where it was too challenging to even conduct the elections because of the political issues, and where the where the scope for accessible election was almost nil. And when I went to Delhi and I discussed this with the chief election commissioner, immediately the commission gave constituency with regard to accessible elections, that accessible elections should not be stopped. It has to be ensured, and with regard to specific instructions. And so that was really a great moment for me. And then the Election Commission also conducted lot of discussions and training programs at the national and international level with regard to accessible elections. And commission also appointed a accessibility consultant for accessible elections, which is me. And then in 2018, the National Voters Day theme was announced as accessible elections, and icons with disabilities were identified and promoted across the country in every state. Then consultations happened with the stakeholders at the district, state, and national level, and the etiquette with regard to disability and accessible elections was also circulated to all the states. Then new notifications were also issued from then on with regard to providing wheelchairs and booth volunteers at every polling booth to assist persons with disabilities, and also to provide free transportation for persons voters with disabilities. Then the strategic framework was released in the national consultation on accessible elections, and which spoke about a very about 14 pillars, whereas two important things are district, state, and national committees on accessible elections, and which are inclusive of people with disabilities. That's one thing, and second important thing is about having partnership with the disability groups at the field level, and the election department has to work in partnership with the disability groups. Then commission also started printing braille voter ID cards and distributed it. Notified access observers where they were deployed to observe accessibility of full electoral process and report to the commission. PWD mobile app was launched. Postal ballot was introduced, and then it was implemented in the recent Delhi elections. And as a follow-up of all these things, a national workshop on accessible elections was conducted in this December. And yes, like Varun said, the commission also set up polling booths with many number of polling booths with polling officials with disabilities, fully manned by officials with disabilities. So this was also an achievement to showcase that the ability and the equality and dignity of a person with disability that he or she deserves. And apart from this, ECI also collaborates with the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities and other departments on with regard to accessible elections. And right now, the commission is also into working on preparing a directory on all the state coordinators for accessible elections and the inclusive electoral literacy clubs. Commission is also circulating access audit checklist for every polling booth to all the states chief electoral officers. So all these things are happening, and further much more is in plan. And I would also like to say a few of my wow moments where I felt literally great, while working with the commission and in my journey of accessible elections. In 2017, when the chief election commissioner came to Chennai, sorry, in 2016, a group of members from the Disability Rights Alliance met him, and immediately the first thing he asked us was, what is the term of reference that you would prefer to be addressed, instead of citing a group of persons with disabilities as Divyangjan. That was really amazing of his respect to persons with disabilities. So that was literally unforgettable moment for me. And I also felt great when I got the specific directions for the RK Nagar constituency on accessible elections in 2017. And when I saw, ramps and handrails set in all the floors of Election Commission of India in 2018, after a huge discussion with the Public Works Department and a lot of plans getting changed and delayed, and failure by the PWD as well, because of the narrow space and lot of restrictions in space and all that, they literally ensured that these ramps and handrails with with a good sturdy matte finish was enabled. And the theme of accessible elections for the National Voters Day 2018, and announcement of access observers from 2018. And another awesome moment was when Devanshi Joshi was announced as a national icon, who who is a torch bearer for voters with intellectual disabilities. So that is a really grateful moment for me. And through Disability Rights Alliance advocacy work in Chennai, we got the first polling booth inside IMH. And another great moment was when the current chief election commissioner intervened with the Maharashtra CEO and brought down 5,000 polling booths from upper floor to the ground floor, which costed about 25 crores. That was really great. A good job by the ECI. And and the accessibility cell has been set up in ECI right now. And Election Commission of India have also announced awards to the disability groups, CSOs, CEOs, and the government officials with regard to their work on accessible elections. And another great thing that happened in Punjab is, I said earlier that Punjab group have formed different district groups, strong district groups, which work with the district authorities on accessible elections. So every district authority, district administration honored all the district disability groups on this National Voters Day. So these are really great moments. And of course, we have a lot of challenges also, which challenges faced are also faced by the election department as well as disabled people and the private, whoever is involved and all that. So we have to come up with fine tuning the system and implementation strategies together is what I would suggest. And with regard to basic information that a voter with disability should know, any voter with disability can enroll if he or she is 18 or above years of age and an Indian citizen, and can also mark himself or herself as a voter with disability. Enrollment can be done through Form 6. Form 6 can be availed from voter enrollment centers or from the offices of the election registration officer or assistant election registration officer, or from booth level officers, or it can be done online also through NVSP, National Voter Service Portal. And if we want to delete our name from the electoral roll, we can use Form 7. And if we want to edit some, our details, we can use Form 8. Documents required for enrollment are residential proof, age proof, and passport photograph. And we can also verify our details in the electoral roll through our CEO's website, or by approaching booth level officer, or even the polling booth list available in any of the authorities' office. And as of now, the assured minimum facilities that have to be ensured in any polling booth are accessible polling booths with with a ramp, with a standard ramp and handrail, and braille candidate sheet and braille EVMs. Then good lighting should be there inside the polling booth, and signages should be there. Toilets should be there, and water facility and a help desk should be there. Other facilitations which are being instructed by the Election Commission to all the CEOs and to be provided to voters with disabilities are priority queue and wheelchairs to be made available in every polling booth, and volunteers to be there to be made available to facilitate voters with disabilities in every polling booth, and specific parking should be allocated for people with voters with disabilities, and polling booths should be definitely on the ground floor, and transport facilities should be enabled for voters with disabilities. If a person with disability should be allowed a companion if he or she prefers to, and in case a companion is coming along with a person with a voter with disability, they should sign Form 14A that I have accompanied this person and helped him in voting. And wheelchair booking should be made available in advance as well, and accessible information should be available, whether it is about polling or about the electoral process, whether it is sign language or plain language or braille voter guides. Everything should be, information should be made available in accessible formats. And for any grievance, we can contact the toll free number 1950, and or the control room in set up in our own districts, or we can also file our grievance through the PWD mobile app, Android app, or we can approach the presiding officer of our respective polling booth. So this is the major work that has happened in with regard to accessible elections. And I would like to close my presentation by expressing my sincere thanks to late Mr. Javed Abidi, who was a great motivator, who kept motivating me to work on accessible elections from 2015 Fembosa conference. And he also facilitated all my trips to Delhi to meet the election commission. And apart from that, Vaishnavi Jaykumar, who is literally a mentor for me with regard to accessible elections, and she's a great visionary. And not only she identifies the issues, but she also comes up with rational solutions. And thank you so much, Vaishnavi. And finally, and most importantly, Election Commission of India, they are the officials, from the election commissioners to the deputy election commissioners and other officials, all are very proactive in working on accessible elections. And they are friendly, and they welcome new innovative ideas, and are willing and ready to work towards 100% accessible elections. Thank you very much. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Smita ma'am, for giving such a comprehensive, I would say, explanation, or like you walked us through it, like literally, like a lot of new information coming all like our way, and it was just thank you for explaining it so well and so in depth as well. I think I'm going to have to go back and watch this on YouTube once again, just to grab everything and understand everything.
JAF is a youth led initiative. We deeply appreciate the support of all our interns and volunteers. Thank you. You can follow us on Facebook at Javed Abdi Foundation, and you can tweet us at Rishad Shamir.